Oh, looks like we are. I guess we're live. Could be.
Oh, there's the comments. Okay.
Huh. Let's see. Let's show this one. Look, I said this.
Can we still show our cool video?
No.
Oh, then
No
I want.
bells. No bells and
I don't want to do
whistles.
this. No.
Yeah. No bells and whistles for this.
We
For this
played D and
edition.
D. We played D&D last night, and the dragon intro that you made
Yeah.
for the Red Five Tavern still like the coolest video ever with the music in the background. Epic.
Very nice. Yeah. I re- I remember that.
It's
So
quite
let's
a
see
while ago.
here. Oh, there's two channels. There's a. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast live. No bells and whistles. We are trying out a new service. You see that little powered by EV Mux? So far, so good.
Don't
Sort
mind
of.
me.
Sort of. Um, there's a lot of buttons over here, but this time they're on that side. And I see Danny's in the chat. We'll see what she has to say because I think she is also going with this service, Eve Mux or Ev Mux, EV Mux. I don't know how to say it. Hyperspace Heroes is here. Thank you very much. You know what? We were this close to trying Restream as well, but it seemed too much like a toy.
Mm.
This one has some pretty decent
We're
tools.
serious. We're serious here on
Yeah,
the Scarab Scuttlebutt.
for sure. I'm just making our way through here. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I don't know if you guys got the alert. Again, we are trying a new service. Looks like StreamYard is doubling the price of the plan that we had, and it is our responsibility to make sure that our patron dollars are well spent.
We're fiscally conservative here on the Scarab
Fiscal,
Scuttlebutt.
absolutely, absolutely, and we want to make sure that you guys get the best bang for your buck when it comes to supporting us. So we're trying out this new service. Yeah, triple for some.
What? It's good to make it subtle so no one notices.
Exactly, exactly. So we'll see, but we are here trying out this new platform, and it's a little disconcerting here because now everything is on that side. Although I do like the dark mode. Let's see who's in the chat. Who was first? It's probably Danny. There's Danny and her comics and I think I found out from Steve from Rebel Force, no, from Rebel Rock Radio, and he was talking about changing his service because they were upping the price.
Mm.
And I didn't get the email yet. And then, like 2 days later, I got the email that says, "Hey, by the way, we're changing your plan to $45 a month." I'm like, "What? This
Good
is
Lord, are you
crazy."
serious?
Yeah. So this plan is, I think once StreamYard for us is, we're paid up through October. So
Mm.
I'm just trying to, I'll go ahead and start to, what do you call it? What's the word when
Migrate.
you migrate? There you go. I'm going to start migrating all those cool graphics that we have over on the StreamYard and then bring them over here. But this one also boasts 1080p, which I know Andrew over at the Science Fictioneer was asking me about it. We were kind of toying with different cameras and things like that.
I
So
look way better in high def for
you'd
sure.
use absolutely 480p was not doing you justice.
You can see the facial hair that I get to grow now.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, let's see. But yeah, that's about it. Again, no bells and whistles for this plan right now. But I know you asked me about the cool videos and countdowns. There is a countdown here, but it's not really. It's just nothing special.
I mean, that scared the crap out of me. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was really loud.
Yeah, but Brad, how you doing, man?
Fantastic. It's been a good Saturday.
Oh, that's great.
Very good.
We're getting a almost like an Indian summer here in Chicago, and we're in the 80s, in the high 80s actually, and it's been really, really great. A lot of festivities around in and around the city that I get to partake in, and it's been a fun couple of days.
Good. Good.
Oh,
And we're gonna be recording more here in the future.
that is right. I wanted to ask you that in particular, but before, I noticed that your background is a little different. You had some life changes.
Just a few.
Wanna
Just a few. Yeah.
wanna do a little
The
give us the 411, whatever you
yeah
want to share.
the Navy finally set me free. So we are here in very sunny Shreveport, Louisiana.
Very nice.
Yeah. Uh, I
And
guess
you know
we're a
what?
couple hours from Andrew.
Yes, and you know why I'm super happy about that?
Same time zone.
Same time zone. I
No
don't.
more.
I got
No
to
more
put my
maths.
calculator away. No
No
more
more maths
maths. Oh
anymore.
my god.
Subtract or add zero as you wish,
No.
and that's what time we're starting. Yeah.
Excellent. I am
Although
super
I
happy.
had to ask today what time we were starting because now I'm off by a little. It makes it a little trickier with the kids trying to play with them and stuff like that, and they
Yeah.
just realized I was an hour behind them um, since they're still in South Carolina. But no, it's been good. The weather's great here. We're getting used to the area. Plenty of good. We like thrifting and antiquing and that sort
Yeah.
of thing, and there's plenty of places here to do that.
Yeah,
So
very nice. Oh,
yeah,
I love antiquing. I can't wait for you to, hopefully find some Star Wars items. I love going to thrift stores and then looking for, that nice little Star Wars logo.
yeah.
Some of the thrift stores here in Chicago will add a couple of zeros to the prices when they have that Star Wars logo, but
Oh, well,
it is what it is.
they're over there in the kitchen. But I did show you the Star Wars glasses that we got from Burger King,
Yes.
and copyright 1977 on those. So
Those are really
uh,
great. And again,
yeah,
I told you in a private text, I do want to get rid of a lot of my modern or newer Black Series
yeah,
action figures because I really do want to display a lot more of my vintage stuff.
yeah,
I've got I think I have like two and a half collections of those Burger King glasses, which are really great. And they're actually made of glass, so they're really really nice.
yeah.
Um, I forgot. I got to look up the artist because there's a translite that I have the from the menu board that I made a wooden frame and I put a light behind it and it looks really nice. People are starting to show up. Ubaldo, thank you so much for coming on by here. And let's see here. What is Danny? What is she up to?
You say that so much better than I'd be able to say.
I'll send you $20, Ro, for an action figure. You can send it in your own time. Which one? I
That one.
got I got a few. Yeah, a special shout out to Ubaldo. He's all over the place. Oh, and Phil, my fellow Chicago Ninja Turtle. I see him at C2E2 all the time. Thank you very much for stopping by. We've got a couple of announcements. I know earlier in the evening I did say that we are going to be giving away this
Yeah, I just
just
saw that.
a
Yeah.
Funko Pop. These are, Funko Pops are funny for me because I used to hate them, and then people started giving them to me, and I'm like, wow, these are really cool.
Especially when you find like the rarer ones, the more exclusive ones.
Yeah, the guys over at the Salty Nerd podcast turned me on to the special 20th. I think it was the 25th or the 20th anniversary Empire Strikes Back ones that were
Yeah,
kind of a little bigger, and those came out exclusively on Amazon. And yeah, you like them so much, you're giving them away. Well, not, sometimes you find these at a good price, and then I pick up a couple and give them out to some of our viewers. Um,
I give them away because sometimes I buy extra and I didn't realize I already had one.
yeah. Well, Phil, funny you should say that. I mean, it's not a Funko Pop, but a good friend of mine years ago got this for my birthday. It's not a
Classic.
fun. It's not a Funko Pop,
I'm glad you still got that.
but it's it's me as Darth Vader. And my wife says, "You know what? Your head is perfectly proportionate to what it actually is on your
Right?
body."
We had those measurements done ahead of time. They're like, "Are you
Yeah,
serious?" Yeah, yeah. That's
but
those are the real measurements.
it's funny. I remember you asking for a picture of me, and then you just grabbed it off the internet, and
Yeah,
I don't know. That's too funny.
that was a couple years ago now. That was
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I keep this
what was
close
that about
by.
20? That was probably 22, 22.
2022. Yeah,
Back when I knew when your birthday was. Right.
it's too funny. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I just had Scott Rifen over at what's he on? No, he's a radio guy, and I had him on Five Questions, our latest episode. And he did mention that we are somebody's Star Wars guys. When somebody thinks about
Mm,
Star Wars, they text you because, like, I'm still getting texts that James Earl Jones passed away. I'm still getting texts from normal people that say, "Hey, did you realize? Did you know that they
normal
canceled the
people.
Acolyte?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was like
What?
weeks ago." Um,
I hadn't heard.
but thank you, Phil. Brad got that. What is the company that you use? Where?
Oh,
Because
good
I've
lord! I don't know. It was online. We found it online. But I don't know. I probably ask Amy. She probably find out like within 2 minutes.
yeah.
I you know what? And you know what? I'm gonna text her, and she'll look it up. She'll find it in case anybody else wants to use it because it was really cool, and they made it relatively fast.
Yeah,
And I,
that's
I
so
was
cool.
happy with the way it came out, and I think we got there in time, or maybe just a couple days late.
Yeah, for sure. Hyperspace Heroes podcast. Thank you so much for coming on by. Yeah, the Five Questions shows are really great, and this one was kind of long because Scott Rifen really, since he's a broadcaster, I mean, he really loves to talk. But it was really towards the tail end. It almost turned into kind of like a therapy session because we really talked about um, Darth Vader and why we relate to him, but we really got into the weeds there. I think Brad, I think you would have enjoyed that conversation, and
Yeah.
you and I have to do a Five Questions real soon. But what is up with our podcast plans? I know we have a couple of shows that are planned out, but let's tell the folks what we have planned.
I'm excited for tonight's conversation. And, we were talking a little while ago about some of our favorite scenes from the saga. Um, and my son, who's 11, has been sending me short videos that he's been watching about Star Wars. And one of them was about how Vader saved Luke in the throne room scene, and I ended up having a very good conversation with him about that and why that's my favorite scene out of the entire saga. And of course, Ro and I started talking about it, and we realized we'd like to do some deep dives on our favorite scenes and what they mean to us and why they resonate with us. So I think that's one of the first ones we're going to be doing is the throne room scene from episode 6.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because we always try to find kind of a different angle than other folks when it comes to podcasting and topics and stuff like that. I think one of our favorite recent shows we did was we kind of broke down the what 4 or 5 pillars of Anakin Skywalker. We talked with Peter Demuth. He is a clinical psychologist, so we kind of really got
Oh,
mentally deep into the motivations of fear, anger, hate, suffering, and all that stuff. So look for that one on your in our podcast catalog. That was a really good one.
as promised, my in-house FBI agent. Uh, I know she actually does good research. Never mind. My in-house private investigator found the website. If you want to make something like that, Vader. If Ro, you want to throw up that toy again? StatueGift.com. StatueGift.com is where we got
Oh,
that made.
very nice. And it's funny because they'll actually take a picture, right?
Yeah, they
Like
just
like you
they
sent
rendered
them
the 3D picture. Yeah.
yeah, you sent them a picture of me. Probably I had post a selfie of some sort somewhere. and
Yeah, I
I
think it's
like
from one of the cons a few years ago.
yeah, but I like this guy's hair better than my actual hair. Yeah, but say that link again.
StatueGift.com.
Very nice. And this is it's a nice size too. It's not
Yeah,
too tall. It fits nicely, on your desk. It's really cool. Like I said, thank you so much for that. I keep that handy and really really nice. Love it. Um, all right. So before we get into, obviously, I do want to thank a couple of patrons: Greg, Nicole, Belinda, Danny, of course, Melanie, Marquita, Scott, and Kim of the Use and Abuse podcast. The Frank, he's been a supporter of ours for quite a long time. Alex from the Salty Nerd. Who else? Let's see. We got a couple of people that are in the patron as well. From a certain point askew, those guys are hilarious. Dan Dudich, just had dinner with him and Greg McLaughlin, great pool kid, and Nicholas Schaefer, of course, our longest, probably one of our longest patron, and the Credible Nerds say hello as well. But awesome stuff. I did want to before we get into our main topic. We talked about stuff that's in the news, and I know you and I we were kind of back and forth regarding some stuff that was in the news, and I think I wanted to first of all the elephant in the room. Let's talk just briefly because I don't think we care a lot about the YouTubers fighting each other. Um, the Star Wars explained people versus the other people. It's just kind of funny to us, and I think I might echo your sentiments, Brad. But I think I'm glad I have an actual job, and I don't have to rely on
facts.
YouTube
Yeah,
for all these shenanigans. We make our own shenanigans, but it's just kind of funny to see. It's funny to have seen the battle online between the two groups, and then all of a sudden, and then YouTube releases their answer about deplatforming or demonetizing the other YouTubers, and then all of a sudden, like things just quieted down. It's whatever.
yeah. It's all fake drama. You know, we're here for the Star Wars.
We are here for the Star
That's
Wars.
why it's just a side hustle for us. We can do whatever we want. I mean, like I said, I told you guys a long time ago about all the. Never mind. We'll stay on topic, Rose. But I
um,
told you so.
yeah, yeah. It's the same side of a different, the same face of a different.
Yeah,
What do you call it? No, the same.
yeah, that,
It's the
yeah,
same coin, different side. I don't know.
yeah.
You know
Different
me.
bird wing of the coin.
Right,
What?
exactly. Exactly. Too funny. Let's see here.
What?
What
Yeah, what hyperspace hero said.
much ado about nothing. Yes. All right. So speaking of much ado about nothing, I'm gonna put this up and spotlight it. But
It's so weird. This is just now a thing.
yeah, so I guess someone is suing Disney over the re-imaging of Peter Cushing in Rogue One. When did that movie come out?
That was in
2015,
15.
16, and
Yeah,
now they're suing him.
yeah. It must have been 16.
And it's funny because I was reading a little bit about it. IGN had a an article, and this one is iNews in the UK. And I guess there's a dude who has a production company who supposedly um, is suing Disney because he signed a contract with Peter Cushing in '93, which is 1 year before he passed away, that prohibited anyone from recreating his face digitally. And I feel like he thinks that his contract trumps the contract that Peter Cushing signed in 1976 before the movie, or five, whatever it is that they hired him. And I was reading too. He's also suing the Peter Cushing estate for allowing Disney to do that.
So do they? So do they get just in the '70s? They just get general likeness rights.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how? Okay, but you can't tell me that Disney did not cross all the dot the i's and cross their t's before they did that.
Absolutely. I mean, there must have been what 37 and a half attorneys
Yeah,
looking over all the paperwork and making sure that
you don't dig up a dead guy and use him,
right.
and I don't know. He's gonna lose. I mean, Disney has to have the best lawyers out there. I would assume.
Yeah, I do feel that this is kind of a frivolous lawsuit, and I know it will probably go to trial because I think I read that Disney was trying to get it dismissed, and the judge said no. But it'll be interesting once they start hearing all the details. I don't understand um, how it even got traction. I mean, the guy has a production company and signed with Cushing a year beforehand. He hasn't done anything, so I think it's just an attempt to try to garner interest or
Yeah, he's gonna be even more
notoriety.
broke by the time they're done with the courts.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, it's
let's
weird,
see.
and
It
it's
is weird.
just now a thing this many years later.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Science Fictionary is in the house. Andrew, one of our fellow Red 5 Network members. Yeah, for the rest of the Red 5 Network people, head on over to bio.link/Red 5. And if you can't find a podcast or a content creator on that list, then I don't know what to tell you.
Star Wars Explained. Go watch them.
What? Go watch them.
He looks great in a bikini.
Oh my God. Stop it, Brad. All right. I wanted to ask you, are you looking forward to any new Star Wars products?
I don't know. I got my son Star Wars Outlaws. He's playing that.
Yeah. Did you start it?
No, no,
No.
it did. I wasn't excited I mean, when they first announcement, I was first announced it. I was a little bit excited about it, but then having seen the game footage, nah. I'll let him tell me how it is. If he likes it, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah. What about what's even happening in Star Wars? It's Skeleton Crew,
Eh,
right?
I don't know. Uh, I'll watch it with Liam. See if the baby likes it. See if they.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I mean, if it's designed for the younger generation,
Sure. And
maybe
again,
we won't be so harsh on it.
right? We talked about that a couple of Scarif lives ago. I think that's kind of good advice sometimes. I think we have to kind of just get in there and either watch it with somebody younger and just kind of get the infectious energy that they have.
Yeah,
But yeah, Phil, it comes out in December. I think it's the first week of December. Skeleton Crew, and again, we're always looking forward to new Star Wars, just to see what we have. But yeah, we'll see.
I don't
But
know.
I
We talk about this, ad nauseum, but I feel I just want the company to take Star Wars seriously again. Like give us some deep Star Wars content.
well,
It's true to the lore.
we are getting Andor season 2.
I'm
Of
talking about
course,
some. I'm talking about some Force stuff. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
obviously excited for Andor
sure,
season 2, but I'm talking, some we've been talking about for years now. Where's our old Republic,
yeah, we'll see.
not High Republic?
That's one of the questions I had for Scott on our 5 questions. I felt like Disney was kind of doing a social experiment. Obviously, we have a movie coming out, Mandalorian and Grogu, which is set kind of in that sweet spot of the timeline. Yeah, Loki, you are right. We have more
Best I
Ahsoka.
can get. Best I can do is more Ahsoka,
Um, we have the book campaign, the High Republic, which didn't hit for me.
or a lot
Eh,
of people.
for a lot of people, I guess, based on the book sales. Man, it that is tanking as we speak. But people are reading it, people are buying it, but not in the numbers that I guess Disney is hoping for. But then you've got the Ray movie that is supposedly also in the works. But one thing for sure is that I'm looking forward to Star Wars just on the big screen. I think for Star Wars to be as a streaming show, I think it. I don't know. They're still having some growing pains from my point of view. It's going to be nice to see Star Wars on the big screen with I think maybe more of a budget, more of a production design, a little bit more cinematic in scope. Um, we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I was just thinking about we had a very good roundtable discussion for our 200th episode. Would end up being our 200th episode, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think the difference between now and back then, maybe I'm misremembering this. I feel like back in the day, whether it was the movies or the books or the comics, the the interest or the likeness went anywhere from you really liked it to pretty much just indifferent about it, maybe a slight dislike, but that's it. But I feel like it's anywhere between meh to I really love this. Whereas now it's completely over the entire spectrum of I really love this to I really hate this. Do you remember anything like back in the day, say pre 2012, where we were all like, man, I hate that?
No, not. I guess not to the extreme that we have it now. I think the internet really exacerbated both ends of the spectrum. I mean, did we have the word shill before the internet? No, we didn't. I never heard anyone call anyone a shill because they liked something or even over liked it. But I don't think it was a thing until people started to get ridiculed online for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with Andrew on that one. I
Andrew,
tried. I tried, man.
Andrew, I think your point is clear.
I I really wanted to like it.
Yeah, I mean, we interviewed
Claudia Gray, we had her. I
Claudia.
mean, like,
We
and
had her on.
Kevin Scott, I think is part of that. Like, and
Sure. I mean, the
they've,
authors. There's a lot of
yeah,
great
I mean,
authors on there.
but I think because I think they were, you are going to write this story instead of just letting the authors do their thing.
Sure.
You're going to write this story, and they may have been pigeonholed into a certain story. They made it pretty clear that there's a strong agenda for that
Yeah.
entire series. Maybe that's why, but I mean, decent authors, most of them.
Right. Right. I want to put this up real fast, folks. If you want to write it down, we're going to again. We're giving away this Princess Leia Funko Pop. You're going to have to call the Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline at 773-234-8659 and leave your answer later on in the broadcast. So this is a nice little Leia. Put it on your desk. But we will have a question for you guys towards the end of the show, and use that phone number and leave a message, leave an answer to Brad's question once he starts that going. But yeah, let's see. Yes, Phil, you are absolutely right. Call the hotline. It's your only hope. And you know what? You guys should put it in your Rolodex or in your favorites because there's always something to say when you listen to the Scare Scuttlebutt hotline. There's a Scare Scuttlebutt podcast. Um, all right.
Is Rolodex still in business? I wonder.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. We'll look it up.
I'm sure they probably made like digital Rolodex now.
Digital Rolodexes. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm sure they did.
what didn't last long enough? Completely on tape. Palm Pilots. Remember Palm Pilots?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
They should have been a thing for longer.
Well, didn't the Palm Pilot kind of morph into the iPad?
Yeah, but we passed through it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah. You know who would know the answer for sure is Sean of Extra Star Wars. I'll tweet at him and see, Mister Techie there, Extra Techie. All right, so a while ago I posted a random question like I do. talking about the Force, and I was wondering. I had a question, and if you guys that are still listening to us rant, we would love to have this portion of the show be very interactive. So, the question that I posed and the main topic for tonight is: can you use the dark side of the Force for good, or at least use it to affect a favorable outcome? And I know Yoda said, the dark side is quicker, more seductive. Forever, if you use it forever, will it dominate your destiny, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. That just sounds like, Yoda complaining.
Yoda's been wrong how many times now?
Yikes. But
All right, Loki, you
yeah.
have to defend your answer because you're wrong.
Oh, Loki says no. Next question.
You're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's an interesting question because I know we have seen, characters that are not dark side users tap into the dark side. I'm thinking of what's his name, Ezra from Rebels. I think.
How about Luke Skywalker?
How about Luke Skywalker?
How about Luke Skywalker, Episode 6, Force choking two Gamorrean guards?
Nah, it's a little force choking. It's no big deal.
Oh, it's a dark side ability.
So I remember the controversy when that started to pop
Mm-hmm.
up. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, they wanted to say that he wasn't. He didn't actually force choke them. He was just influencing their minds to make them pass out. No, no, he choked their asses out. All right. So I'm going to throw this out to you. And as Rose said, this is an interactive. Okay. So you're a force user. You have the ability to use the light side and the dark side of the force. You're walking down the street. There's an innocent woman and her kid walking along, and suddenly they get attacked by somebody violent. He's going to shoot them and or kill them in some manner, and you force choke them, or you shoot lightning at them, and because of your actions, having used the dark side, now that innocent woman and child are alive. So we're not talking about the fact that you chose the dark side or the light side, like, or yeah, maybe you had some light side, available, but you chose not to use it. But you just used the dark side. Well, I
Loki
mean,
has Loki
it's
has a
just
point.
no. It isn't. I'm saying not talking about options. We're take all the options out of it. You chose to use the dark side, which was, we'll say you force choked the person to make them stop. Maybe not even kill them, but you choke them out so they stop attacking the innocent woman and child. So, yeah, as Hyperspace Here's podcast said, some people would pay for that. But in in this situation, tell me how that's evil.
Andrew's got a good point. The woman and child are alive, but you still suffer the consequences of using the dark side.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
You chose to suffer for them.
So are you
But
saying that
Rose's
that's
original question was, can you use the dark side for good?
right, right,
And
right?
in this example, how is that not using the dark side for good?
So are you saying that using in your example using the dark side was a self-sacrifice?
Yeah.
And then what do you say to folks that might say, well, you are using the dark side, you are sacrificing yourself a little bit, and what Yoda says still applies. It's going to
I,
eat you up and forever dominate your destiny.
I mean, I know it's like sacrilege for us to talk negative about Yoda, but that was one guy's opinion after having failed miserably and seeing his entire order wiped out.
Hmm.
And it was due to Palpatine and Darth Vader doing it. That was his opinion on the thing.
And here's a great point that Loki is making.
And
The
he's been
next
proved
time,
wrong, though. He's been proved wrong. How many people have used in the actual lore? How many people have used the dark side and come back from it? So his comment is disproven in the movies and other places where forever will it dominate your destiny.
Mm. I think maybe from a general perspective that might apply, but Loki's got a good point. The next time it'll be an easier choice, and then the next time, and then the next time. And I think this is how criminals escalate to become murderers. And I think a lot of times when you go into, thinking about the motivation of criminals, psychopaths, serial killers, it all starts by maybe torturing a squirrel out in the play yard, and then escalates to something worse when everything is said and done.
I have a hard time with the escalation theory that you're on that.
But you don't think it happens?
It may happen with select, not with everybody.
No.
Just because this is just, and I don't want to start this conversation, but just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're going to use it. That by that logic, I think a lot of people say, "Oh, you have a gun, you're going to go shoot people."
Right.
That's not the way it works. I mean, if you're inclined to do so, you're going to do so. But there are the vast majority who own weapons would never do that, but they have the ability to do it. I don't think just because you have the ability to use the dark side that you're going to just like force lightning everybody that you come across that pisses you off in traffic. I don't think you're going to do it.
My wife would like to use the dark side
As much as we
on
would. I mean, like,
people in traffic. Yeah.
it's all about self control and self restraint.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely the case. But I think when it comes to self control, we know that humanity, it's one of those things that is lacking when it comes to self control. Um,
What is Phil saying here? Words. You put those words back up. I can't.
it takes so long for the thing to pop up. If Anakin survived the events of Return of the Jedi, I think we could have seen the dark side not dominating your destiny. I think there could have been a cool redemption arc for him in the light side. Well, there was a cool redemption side for Anakin, no? Right? Don't I remember the original trilogy
Well,
correctly?
yeah, but just like if he had lived, and what kind of person he would have been after that.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you talked about. I think I heard you mention this maybe a year ago during the show regarding redemption. And just because you're redeemed, does that wipe away everything that you did? And, the courts will keep it inside the Star Wars universe. Would that clean his entire slate as far as everyone he killed, the younglings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Let's what's hyperspace asking about? But let's talk about the flip side, and like now we're going to the acolyte, which I know we don't really want to go to the acolyte for lore, but it's there now. How many of those Jedi were just Jedi mind tricking, or just blatantly? This is a light side ability, considered a light side ability, and they were just violating people's person. Like whenever they needed an answer in that show, they're like, "Oh, let me just yank it from your head real quick."
Yeah.
Come on now, that's pretty morally ambiguous to me, and that's light side.
Let's see. Hyperspace heroes. How about Yord willing to use forced mind reading on the Neomodian and Acolyte as though it was
Yeah,
common practice? Yeah, yeah,
that's saying the same thing. Like,
yeah.
so if the light side can be used for, I mean, bad, then I think the dark side can be used for good. Again, we're talking about, and then when we had, you know, when we were talking with the doctor, Demuth, what does that balance and the force mean? And we've had some really good conversations about that in the past few months. What balance are we talking about? We're talking about the galaxy, or are we talking about within each person and that sort of thing? He thought it was on a more personal level. Finding you have to have dark to have light.
Loki has a interesting point. There was no mind reading until Disney, as far as I'm aware. You couldn't. You could just sense intentions. I'd have to
No,
think about that one. No,
um,
right?
Kylo used it in episode
No, but he's
7.
saying no, but he's saying no
Oh,
mind reading
until,
until
I'm sorry,
Disney. So
until
yeah,
Disney.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, there was manipulation for sure, using
there's
using
a
a
mind
Jedi mind
trick.
trick. Obi-Wan uses it to distract the stormtroopers.
There's more just getting. Well, no, there was because if you read into what they're saying when Darth Vader talks to Luke, especially in well, Obi Wan mentions it, and then Darth Vader does in Episode 6, where he says your thoughts betray you.
Right.
You're thinking about sister, so you have a twin sister.
But
So
obviously
he's
he's a dark
he's.
side user, so it
Well, I'm
would
saying
make
no. He's there is mind reading.
right.
So I mean, and but I don't. So are we saying that Yord's using the dark side on that one?
Well, what about Loki's comment here? Because I think I would disagree with him. I think it is the same thing. It is manipulating your mind to get your way. Like if I'm trying to talk a police officer out of giving me a parking ticket and I'm using an external force to manipulate you, of course it's kind of
I mean,
dark side-ish,
I
no?
would say a Jedi mind trick in. I mean, just by its application is morally ambiguous. You are affecting the outcome. You are taking away somebody's free will. You are taking
Okay.
away somebody's ability to choose, and the Jedi use that all the time.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and they're using it for good, but you're taking away somebody's free will. I wouldn't consider that a good thing, even if you do have good intentions.
Now, are you saying that the Jedi are using this ubiquitously, just without regard, and it has been a normal thing for them,
Yeah, yeah.
and it is not dominating their future? Because I obviously, getting to our example, I think But it's funny though. Somebody mentioned in the chat it would be easier the next time and the next time and the next time.
So it is for
Well, I
them
think
too.
it is for them, and I think we see it because when you think about a Jedi mind trick, everybody knows. Even in the real world, everybody knows what a Jedi mind trick is, and it's been part of the lexicon of the Star Wars fabric to perform a Jedi mind trick. And what is a Jedi mind trick? You have the word trick in it,
Yeah,
obviously, and that is kind of problematic for a group of space monks that are supposedly on a higher plane of consciousness than the rest of the population. So I think that's a good example.
yeah. I mean, like, I guess my overall point here is, as we've said recently, it's not, the light and the dark side of the force are just two aspects of the force itself. How the user chooses to apply them determines whether they are good or bad. The light side is not inherently good. Uh, so I disagree with the Jedi's teaching on that. The light side is not inherently good, and the dark side is not inherently bad in and of themselves. It's how they are used, how they are applied, that makes them good or bad.
Yeah, and I think that is something that we talked at length at with Alex a couple of years ago. If you guys really want to get into the weeds, go look for our episode. What is balance of the force? And I think we had a really, really great discussion about the dark side, the light side, and all the areas in between. But really great episode on that one. But and it's funny too because I think Andrew said it in the chat. Intent is a very big part of
Yeah,
how you use anything. I mean, you obviously gave the example about the a gun owner, and obviously, if you intend to use the gun for bad, then obviously, the connotation there is that guns are bad. But if you're using it to protect your family, whatever, blah blah blah, I think intent really doesn't come into play in decisions as much as it should in the real world and in our fictional galaxy far far away.
yeah. Um, I mean, I'd like some. I like for the chat if you have more examples on why you think it's not, or more points as to why you think you can't use it for good, or if anybody feels anywhere like this the same way that I do, share that in the chat.
Do you think that this is probably one of the quandaries that Luke was thinking about prior to heading over to Octo to
Yeah, and
separate
look,
himself from the Force?
I mean, and Loki brings up a good point there, and of course now you got the clerks, you got the the clerks discussion. 99.9% of the people that worked on the Death Star, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, were not evil. Most of those people were in the military, not knowing that they were working for an evil organization. Uh, the top echelon was highly evil and using everybody therein. But the most people they show up and they're a janitor on the Death Star. That janitor is not inherently evil just because he's where he's working. They didn't, whatever. And Luke used a force ability to blow up however many millions of people were on that. And so that's using I guess you would consider a light side ability to control the proton torpedo. Um, that's using the light side for that was a mass killing there. And now you're going to get into some morally ambiguous arguments. Oh, you destroy the Death Star, now they can't destroy more, and it's not as black and white. Yeah,
Well, it's interesting too because someone who is in the armed forces, can completely relate. If we ever went to a full-fledged war, obviously there are instances where collateral damage happens, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, like, how do you separate the act of war? Because what is the intent of war if not to, control the narrative of one side of an argument, better than your opponent?
yeah,
And sometimes, you have to break a couple of eggs to make a cake.
yeah. And I mean, Loki or somebody mentioned George Lucas. I was disagreeing with George Lucas. A couple points on that. One, Star Wars, like it or not, has evolved past George Lucas. There's been plenty of lore introduced after he wrote the story and turned it over to Disney. But just like Dr. Demuth brought up in that episode, you know, George Lucas himself in the episode three, the opening paragraphs there are heroes on both sides.
Hmm.
So even he's acknowledging that on both sides of any conflict, there's good and bad. Um,
And
so
you know what? I might push back a little bit on Loki's statement here, because I think Lucas did think about some of the deeper things. I think he distilled a lot of um, the ideology of good and evil, because obviously, in 1977 he was making this thing to appeal to a wider audience, to give that audience hope. But I think each movie was a little bit more complex when it came to the narrative of good and evil. I think if he would have continued to tell the story of this world he created, I think it would have been very interesting to hear, especially because we all know that George Lucas studied the humanities, anthropology, and the study of our history, and I think it would be interesting to hear more of what George Lucas really thought of when he thought of good and evil. And I know it's not really stemmed in real world religion, but maybe a composite of religion as a whole, just to be able to, I don't know, showcase some sort of spirituality in young people at the time in the 70s, since the country was going through a lot. But yeah, I mean, I really regret the fact that George didn't finish 7, 8, and 9, because I think somewhere in there he might have been able to. introduce I don't know, something additional when it comes to the fight between good and evil, because you are right, it's and people have said it in the chat, it's very complicated. Intent is never something that is discussed, and I think, for the most part, maybe it should,
Yeah,
maybe it should
and
be.
I mean, and I think a wiser, and you're talking about millennia of teaching. I think a wiser approach to teaching the Force for the Jedi would have been to control both sides of the Force and have the self control, the self restraint to use both sides responsibly.
Yeah, right.
Um, you know, same in the Sith. If you if you're just going to study that side, yeah, you're going to turn evil. But I think they should have. I mean, what do you think? You think if someone just has the ability to they can force choke, they can use force lightning or whatever, that they're going to just start doing it to everybody?
Well, I think humanity as a whole has this innate ability to compartmentalize. Some people do it better than other people, and I think, when that line starts to blur is when we get, extremes on either side. And what did Dr. Demuth say about, veering off to one side or the other in the
Yeah,
extreme? You get to the same point where you started, or you get to the other side. If you are super super good, then you're going to make that circle, and then you're going to turn into something that you didn't think you would be. If you go to the very very extreme other side. So, um, no, I don't know. It's interesting.
yeah, hyperspace. I would love to talk for hours about Dooku. I think he's one of the best. I think we posed it before. Who's the most underrated character in Star Wars? And I'll always give it to Count Dooku. I think I think he was misunderstood.
Yeah, and yeah, he's a great character played by man. He is. I think he's like the real James Bond, isn't
I
he?
mean, I think that no offense to anybody in the chat, but I think it comes down to for we've just heard for so long the blanket statement that Darkside is bad, and now we just without delving a little bit more into it. You know,
Whatever. Cypher Diaz. Eh.
I wrote a great fanfic back in the day about Cypher Diaz. You can still find it. It was there from 2005. You can still find it.
Well, what is the answer then? Do you think it's all about intent and the
It is, yeah,
interpretation of that intent?
absolutely. You can't tell me that you and people want to throw other factors into it and other discussions into it, but the your question was, can you use the dark side for good? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Hmm.
Could you
Hmm.
or should you or should you? That's another question. But the question that you asked is, can you use the dark side for good? And you can take any of those abilities that are listed under the dark side and think of any number of occasions where using that ability would cause a good outcome.
And if you want to leave angry voicemails to Brad, give us a call at seven seven
By all
three two
means.
three four 8659 and let us know what you think about Brad's assertion there. But
Just as you can use the light side for bad, as we saw a million times in the Acolyte with the corrupt Jedi order that they presented.
hmm, Adelphi Rangers
Oh, we
comment
got what
here.
do we got? We got from Dave. There's a lot of words. Dave's dimension.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me pop that up first.
Thanks. The words are bigger there, so
The
not
dark
too much
side
though.
is necessary because sometimes you have to fight evil with evil, and sometimes anger and hate can push you to survive. Darkness is necessary. You can't have light without it. I mean,
100%.
that's,
100%.
that is the whole yin yang situation of that philosophy. I think without dark, there is no light.
I mean,
Um,
it goes back to your war. I mean, war, in and of itself is evil. Like killing.
Hmm.
is an evil act. Taking another human life is, you don't want to do that, but do you have to sometimes?
I'm gonna leave this up for a while because it's true. That's the light side of
That's Ryan. That's Ryan Johnson's light side.
Ryan Johnson's light side. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but that's another story. Um, yeah, so that's how we do it here on the Scare Scuttlebutt podcast. Go deep and we answer the hard questions.
I don't think you ever gave your definitive answer. I think you kept the focus on me, and I don't think you ever answered. So
I
let's hear it.
wanted I
You're on
want
the record.
I wanted this to be a an interactive podcast, and I think I managed that.
Except
As
for
chil-
giving your answer. What
Hyperspace
is
Hero
your
says,
answer, sir?
hold on a second. As children, we see the world in black and white, good versus evil, which is what Lucas gave us. As we grow and live lives as adults, we see the world is really gray. As Star Wars grows, it does the same. Um, yeah, I mean, I would have to, life is complicated. Life is not black and white. Life is gray.
Throw Dave's dimension back up there. Dave's on a roll.
You can certainly go into the dark, but keeping an anchor to the light so you can come back, I would definitely be a gray. Yeah, yeah. And Loki says he disagrees with you and he just blocked you.
Oh well.
No, but yeah, I mean it's an interesting topic, and I think it's something that is personal to each person. Um, for me, I think I'm going to go a little column A and a little column B, but I do agree that you do have to have an anchor somewhere in the light in order for you to swing back around. I think it is easier to continually rely on the dark side for answers because it won't give you answers. It'll give you more questions, and that will eat you up inside. As far as what Yoda says, I think to a degree, I will probably agree more with Yoda regarding forever will it dominate your destiny
It's
because
because
it's
it's your
really
favorite movie. That's why.
no, it's because I mean it eats up at you. It's the dark side is dark and cloudy and mysterious for a reason, and you can't see the truth without light. So I think for the most part, um, I wouldn't want to rely on the dark side to provide many answers. I think one of your favorite characters said exactly that. Don't fight what you hate, but fight for what you love. Rose Tico.
you you can't even say it with a straight face. What? So I, I would tweak Dave's comment just a little bit, I think, and I would say that the anchor is actually in the middle,
Okay.
closer to the middle of the light and the dark. Because I mean, you know, dogma. I'm not gonna say hubris. You know
Please don't.
the but the Jedi did get quite morally, dogmatic in their ways, and they were, in their opinion, very much anchored in the light. So
Hmm.
far, where they couldn't like see other points of view. I think
Yeah,
so. I think that anchor is probably closer to the middle.
sure. Yeah, I would agree. All right, folks. Let's get that number ready.
Oh yeah.
The Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline is 773-234-8659. If you have anything to say about the topic tonight or anything that we said, go ahead and leave a voicemail. Brad and I did a show a couple of weeks ago. We answered and reacted to a lot of your voicemails. That was a really fantastic show. I love doing that. So if we can get some more voicemails, we'll be able to do another show just reacting to your voicemails regarding topics or whatever. It's always great to hear your messages on the Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline. The number is on your screen. Call today. But we are going to be giving away a wonderful original trilogy Princess Leia Funko Pop. She's wearing her white outfit, which is a classic look, obviously. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? And I think this is Funko Pop number 595, for those of you keeping track. And we're going to be asking a question. You have to call the Scarif hotline to post your answer, and we will randomly pick a winner and send the winner this and a couple of. You know what? I'll put in some stickers too. I'll put in some stickers to folks that leave their address on there as well. Put some stickers on there.
Where my sticker go?
Where'd your sticker go on your Tumblr? You can put them on your Tumblr. You can put it on your uh, wherever. So
Looks
that'll
great
be a
on the
lot of
Tumblr.
fun. Yeah, and especially if your Tumblr matches the color of the sticker, huh?
Yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
There's a lot of black things in this house.
All right, so
We ready for the
for
question?
here's the question. Let's hear the question. What does
All
Brad got?
right. To us, she's always royalty. As we all know, Princess Leia is from the royal family of Alderaan, but Carrie Fisher was also considered Hollywood royalty. And please do not give away the answer in the chat. Carrie Fisher was considered Hollywood royalty. What were the names of Carrie Fisher's parents? You can call that number below and leave your answer and get the Princess Leia Funko Pop. What were the name of Carrie Fisher's parents?
Very nice, Mr. and Mrs. Fisher. Nope.
Hmm, hmm,
Hmm.
hmm.
All right, guys. Brad and I are going to be recording some new content come Tuesday night. We've got a couple of things to discuss and produce, but I'm looking forward to us getting together and recording some new stuff. What else? What else is going on?
I don't know. Not much.
I will. I'll also put the audio of this show. I usually kind of do that on a Tuesday. I'll see if I can extract it from this platform, and it's a little
At
different
least
than
7 minutes of it.
at least 7 minutes of it. Yeah, the free one only records 7 minutes, but I think I can take it off of YouTube with a YouTube audio extractor. So that'll be in the feed on Tuesday for next week, and then we'll have another show, a brand new show, Brad and I, for Thursday. I'm hoping, if life doesn't get in the way. I wanted to give a special shout out to our buddy Sean Crummell, artist. And I bought this from his parents' comic book shop in Florida.
Nice.
Really nice. Smacked in the Head by Sean Crummell. Really fantastic art. I love supporting independent artists, and Sean obviously joins me and some other guys talking about the original Quantum Leap show on the Price of Reason live channel. But head on over to Sean Crummell's Twitter page and just ask him for the link, because I can never remember. It's just too long. But really great stuff. Oh, and I found this at a thrift store. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, that
The
one's, yeah.
Star Wars Blood Ties from Dark Horse Comics. You know, I really miss the Dark Horse comic Star Wars line.
Yeah. And there were most of them. Couple of the lines were not that great, but I would
Yeah,
say at least 90% of them were really good.
yeah. It's Dark Horse was one of those comic book companies that kind of took Star Wars in a new direction. But you talk about
That got us through the
Fisher.
dark ages there.
Yeah,
You
but
know, 90s, early 2000s.
sure. Yeah, that got us through the dark ages for sure. Absolutely. Excellent. Again, 773-234-8659. If you know the answer to Brad's question, why don't you leave us a voicemail, and we'll send you that Leia Pop. If three of you answer, one of you is getting the Leia Pop, but all of you are getting some stickers. So make sure that,
They're just going to break it up. What if
make
he's
sure.
going to get her head?
Yeah, there you go. And then you guys can get together and put it all together. But
There you
yeah,
go.
absolutely. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on the Scarif Live. Hopefully, Depends on what we have to talk about. Hopefully, we'll be on again next Saturday, and we'll sit and chat with all of you. Wonderful folks that made some time on a Saturday night to join us on Scarif Live. Thank you so much. Again, no bells and whistles. Any final messages, sir?
I'm stealing Rose line. Enjoy Star Wars responsibly, and that's the
And
scuttlebutt.
the scuttlebutt. Absolutely, guys. Let's see. Share video? No, there's nothing here. These are all new buttons for me. Excellent. All right, guys, check us out. And again, check out the rest of the Red 5 network over at bio.link/Red 5 and interact with us when we post stuff. Most of it is silly, but sometimes we have some really great questions. So please head on over to the X, to the Twitter, wherever the hell you get your other favorite podcasts, and give us a listen. Hey, we got some Star Trek people in the chat.
Oh god.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to hit the end broadcast because this is a free plan, no bells and whistles. But maybe in 2 weeks we'll have some fancy outro videos. Brad, talk to you later.
All right,
Every
man. Have a great night.
everybody in the chat. We'll see you.